it again. Let's try it again. Try it again. Try it again. Try it again. Welcome. I would say virtual happy hour. It's more like welcome to amateur hour, amateur broadcast hour. Let's try it again. Let's roll the open. Let's see if we can pull off a Friday broadcast here. We're going to try to pull off a Friday broadcast. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Let's try it again. Take two. Yes. Happy Friday. Again, happy amateur hour here. Pretend I'm playing broadcaster. It's what I'm doing. It's like, as a kid, you dress up, you play policemen or cowboys and Indians or whatever it is you played. I pretend broadcasting. It's what I pretend to be. So total S show to start as usual. But I can't even tell if I'm even on. So I guess I'm on. Who knows? Glad you guys are along, though. Maybe it'll show up here in a second. Every time I invest in something new, like equipment-wise, I got to invest in something else equipment-wise. What a mess. Anyway, glad you guys are along on a Friday. I do know it's Friday because Friday is usually the one easy, I say easy, it's a slower day. Although I had this ridiculous problem today, and it's going to sound like a real clueless problem, but okay, so my computer was overloaded with a bunch of, I replaced my hard drive a year ago. Thing was running smooth, but the hard drive was smaller. I do have a Dropbox and the cloud and all that stuff. I hadn't been syncing it properly, and even though my stuff was going to Dropbox, I hadn't really kept it in the cloud, and I kind of avoid that. I don't know why I shouldn't. But anyway, long and the short of it was, all my editing projects, the editing what I did right there, those are all mostly done in Adobe. And long and the short of it was, I'd filmed this cooking video today, or a couple weeks ago, and I was in the final editing stages of it. It should take me about 30 minutes to be ready to put it online. Except the problem was, when I moved all those files from my computer to the cloud, Adobe wasn't finding them properly, which set me off on an hour-long goose chase figuring out what the heck I was trying to do. Because it was showing video, but wasn't showing the video there. So that was my afternoon. Isn't that crazy? I know. I'm sure your afternoon is what we better hope it is. I'm glad you guys are along. Let's go right to Mom. I believe she's still hanging with us. I don't know. She was hanging with us a moment ago. Let's see if she is hanging with us. And yeah, you are hanging with us. What's wrong? What are you doing there?
Thumbs up.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you are hanging with us. Yeah, so yeah, and, my ridiculous problems. What?
And I'm having some nectar of the gods.
Which god is that? What's the wine god?
The wine god, whoever that is.
Lowercase?
Well,
lowercase?
Yes, lowercase. Maybe God Cabernet Sauvignon. He's a new French god.
I got you. I got to restart my phone here because all my equipment is just so garbage. It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. Oh my goodness! Everything. Every time I put a hole in one spot to stop the bleeding, something else goes haywire. I can't get all my gear to work. It's so frustrating. It's only kind of only kids. So anyway, so what's going on today, Mom? Up there in Indiana, what is going on? What is going on? What is going on?
I absolutely have done nothing today. I needed to accomplish a lot for my nonprofit, but I've spent a lot of time in the last week doing stuff for that, so I took a holiday. And so anyway, and I've been stewing a little bit. Last night, word was that school was going to be in e-learning and no football till September 25th. Well, I get home from grabbing a bite to eat at a new little Mexican joint, and
Taco Bell?
No, it's Picante Mexican Grill. No, I don't. I mean, I do go to Taco Bell. It was pretty decent. It was mostly tacos and tortas, and
Gotcha.
Yeah, but no.
I'm just being snarky.
See, so no margaritas. They don't have a liquor license. But anyway, so I get home and then I look at Facebook. Of course, I'd be handicapped and I couldn't look at Facebook. And
you're my wife.
I know it's terrible. I didn't used to be that way, but anyway, up came this post that they've changed within the 24 hours. They've changed to the hybrid school year and no football till August the 23rd or 4th or something like that. Well, Sam was in a tailspin last night. He was like,
Wait. You said September. So what are they doing now? I'm
they're
totally
they're
confused.
they're redoing back to what they'd originally planned, according to the state, to the local health department, and it's just a long sordid
So
tale.
they're going back. So I thought they were. I got the impression when you messaged me last night during the show that they were begging the seasons. That's not what's happening. Okay, I'm
No, well,
confused. I was
no, but it was, they were going to halt it for 6 weeks because school starts Wednesday, six
right.
weeks until September, whatever, and that meant no sports or no
Gotcha.
extracurricular activities. Well, now today they've changed their tune. So, and Stephanie was at school because it was all going to be e-learning, and she was at her school getting geared up for e-learning, which is a whole different ball game. So then, when I get home, I talked to Sam to ask if I could get them some food, and he said no, they had water, yada yada yada. So, and I rarely offer, so they probably was shocked. But anyway, because they usually bring me food. But
Right.
and then anyway, when I checked got home about 3, I checked Facebook, and oh my gosh, it was just lit up with, okay, we're going back to what we originally planned, the hybrid learning situation, and uh, you can practice football if you stay 6 feet apart, yada yada yada, and then games can start. Our actual contact, I guess, August the 20 whatever something 23rd, 24th, something like that. So it's been up. Poor Sam, all the poor coaches and teachers. Oh my goodness, because teachers' meetings were to be Monday and Tuesday, and school starts Wednesday, and so they've changed in 24 hours, and that's a major change. It's crazy. Um, Kevin says he can't understand me.
Yeah, I don't know what's. I don't know what. I can't even find the show on the freaking line. Hold on, I'll make sure we're actually on here. But yeah, well, that is definitely what a mess. I don't know. This whole thing is a freaking. I mean, the whole. Paul and I were talking about this last night a little bit, and
Yes.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
we're actually on. I'm sorry. I'm just kind of checking to see here. Looks like yeah, we're on. I was I was let me turn this up just a tad here. Maybe I'm a little low. Um, Kevin's is louder. Okay. Oh, must have been earlier. I don't know. So I guess we're fine. Anyway, I don't know. All my equipment's so garbage anyway. But anyway, so we were talking this last night. I mean, we were trying to put some positive spin on what probably is going to be a season without baseball in Australia, which means I will be 0 for 2 for the year. But it's like I said last night, though, to Paul, and we talked about this afterwards. We were on the phone talking about this. The funny thing is, there's nothing that Indiana school district can do, or nothing that the Texas school. There's nothing anybody could do that's going to make this thing is out of everybody's hands. I mean, that's the thing. You can wear the mask, you can social distance, all these things you can do, but this is not like interest rates or the economy. You can pump some cash into it or some good vibes. This is something we have no. I mean, the Kansas City T-Bone, by example, last night was the Kansas City T-Bone's mom had no control over whether we played baseball or not. It wasn't up to us. It was
Yeah.
up to a freaking pandemic. And that's
Yeah.
the thing about it. That's the frustrating part about it is there's
not a cure for.
If for example, if we get a flood and we flood, what we can do, we build dams and make sure it floods again. I mean, this is something. I mean, you get disaster comes and it goes. Well, we had a tornado last fall and we rebuild, but we there's not much you can do about that. But it comes through and it's done. It's a once. But this thing affects everybody. It's just such a crazy deal, man. I get it. It blows my mind.
And here is the root problem. I do believe it's misinformation, misdiagnosis, everything. The county health officer, we had an elevation in COVID diagnosis. Well, it was from people outside our county. I don't know where she didn't read the data right. And and I'm like, oh my gosh, because you don't just change in 24 hours from bad to better, and the data is so screwed up. You don't even know where you stand. I mean, I'm not going to go running down the street naked with no mask on just to prove I can't get COVID. That's not the point.
Right.
It's there, but the hype is out of control. You don't know the data and if it's correct and the authorities don't know. That's what's scary. The authorities don't know. The people who are in charge of making the rules don't know. So anyway, is Kevin funny? What is he? Is
He
he?
was just messing with us. He was messing with me. That's all.
Uh,
I don't blame him. I'd mess with me too.
okay, let's see. I've heard him believe to if you hold your right hand slightly over your head as you speak, it'll help the
Yep,
volume.
yep, yep.
Okay, I've got it. Does
There
that
you
mean I
go.
got my halo on,
There
Kevin?
you go. There you go. There you go. Very funny. Yeah, very,
I've
very
got my
good.
halo on. Oh, in substitute for center, right?
There you go. Something like that. Something like that. Well, I was confused about the whole my brother's deal with the coach. When I saw the message last night on the air, I'm like, that's terrible. That it didn't dawn on me that I didn't quite read it correctly, I guess. And I hadn't, when I watched the replay of the show and edited it for the Twitter post, which I need to post here in a minute anyway. I hadn't done that yet. It's 6:30 in the morning in Australia. It should already be up. But
yeah. So anyway, it's back and forth, and now so we're back to what he expected. And the whole gist of the matter is school starts Wednesday. I hope they friggin' decide and keep it that way
right.
because it's difficult for parents to make plans. It's for being at home. It's crazy. And here's what Sam says. This is his take on it. Okay, we can't have school or football, but they're begging for workers in the RV factories, and houses are selling once they get on the market. I mean, the economy in Elkhart is going great guns. It's at 150%, according to a credit union president that I know, and his name happens to be Dallas Burgle, and he said saying we went from zero about 4 months ago to 150% usage of the dollar. And but that's not going to stay. But that's what Sam's saying. We can't send our kids to school, but we can put they're begging for people in the factories, and it's proven, the data's proven, if it's correct, that from 0 to 19 in Elkhart County, there have been no cases uh, recorded in the last 7 days. 19 years old to 30, there's been no cases reported. It's all of that working group from 30 and up, or 29 and up. So it's crazy.
Yeah.
And it's like Gay Marie's saying, stressful for teachers. Yes. Yesterday, Stephanie was at the school, planning to have kids in her classroom. Today, she's gone to school and revamped everything, worked on computers, and now tonight, she's back to yesterday. It gives teachers a cardiac arrest. I
Yeah,
mean,
I
like,
saw today there was a woman, a teacher from Jacksonville, Florida. I saw her in the news this afternoon, and she's a special ed teacher down in Jacksonville. And they had her on the national news, interviewed her. She actually, which I thought was crazy, interesting, but she was all for her school and all supporting her administrators, but she went ahead and made a will out just in case that things went bad, and it was like national news. I'm like, boy, I mean
poor
that
thing.
yeah, it's crazy. It was crazy.
Well,
Crazy.
here's another element for everybody, but particularly education right now, is the mental pressure. There are some people who are not going to be strong enough to survive the mental stability that you need. I'm West Texas bred, and I'll kick the ass of my mental capacity if it starts acting up. But there's not everybody has that, you know, that attitude, and their mind, they're younger, and their world is all crashed in. So we're going to have a lot of mental health problems. So um, it's a mess. It's a mess. Well, I'm going to get off
All
so that
right.
I want my adopted son to get his butt on here. I want to see if he's behaving and what he's dressed like today. I mean, that's. I want to make sure he's appropriate.
I got you. Well, love you,
Okay.
Mom.
I
Be
love you too.
careful. Be good.
Bye.
See you,
Bye.
Mom. There we go. Mom Cam right there from Indiana. Glad she is a long, always leads off the show. Uh, wife's going to make sure her will's updated for real. But yeah, it was interesting. This woman, and she was not militant, upset, screaming and hollering. She was very, in the interview, she was very matter of fact. Look, I love my administrator, my principal, the school, my teachers, coworkers, my kids. This is just me, my opinion. She said it was very matter of fact, saying, I'm a little concerned. And I'm paraphrasing what she said, but the gist of the will was, the back end of it was, she threw it back in the government's face to a degree. That's kind of where she threw it. Her will, and it said, "I died because," and she threw them kind of with the bus. That wasn't the school district. It was an interesting take. Anyway, Kevin saying things up in the Twin Cities and Minnesota or South Dakota openly recruiting them. Yeah, I saw that, and I saw a story, and I didn't catch all of it, Kevin, but I saw something in, I want to say, the Minneapolis paper about that a couple of days ago. I was actually trying to pull up a story about Lewis Thorpe, the Australian pitcher, and for some reason it was a story about it's the story cited things going to South Dakota, one of which was the St. Paul Saints, but it wasn't saying that Saints left to go there, but that they did take their business there for a while, and there were other businesses being recruited, and there was that kind of, and I don't remember the exact verbiage of it. I just kind of caught a glance of it, but yeah, that's a problem. Here, I don't know where we sit here in Texas. I don't know that we're to the point where, well, it's a lot bigger place, not just geographic wise, but population wise. If anything, we've seen some business relocate here. The Tesla group's going to have a new plant in Texas, and they're talking about moving the whole thing here, but they're just moving one production line here to Texas already from California. You've got a lot that's been going on anyway. The California exodus and the New York exodus have been going on here in this area for about 30, 40, well, really better part of my lifetime. You go back to the 1970s when Braniff Airlines was still based here, when American relocated here back in the late 70s. We've been having this mass exodus, or not exodus, mass migration of New Yorkers, Northerners, Californians as well. And it's only picked up recently it's been picked up the last 15 or 20 years. And then now you got this, but I don't know. I don't know where we sit. I mean, it's a weird limbo, because we were talking about this to my in-laws the other night, yesterday actually. Some places, I mean, it's really different across the street. You got one place, for example, a church. You have some churches that are just doing the thing. You got some where I go, they're all online. You're going to have some schools online. You got colleges for alone. There's a hybrid system at some universities here in Texas. Where Caroline goes to school, University of Dallas, they're all back on campus. She moves into a dorm a week from this weekend. So it's very, everybody's kind of doing their own thing. And I guess that's the whole pioneer spirit of, hey, we'll do our own thing and go and forge onward. And I hope that's the right way to go. I pray it's the right way to go. And I think it's the right way to go. But at the same time, I want to be smart about it. I'm not going to waltz into a restaurant without my mask on. I'm still going to follow my rules. So what else we got here? I'll pull this down here, so I can pull this up here. Kevin says he can use that dose, that West Texas mentality. I don't know if that's just a Southern thing and a Texas thing. There's certain things in the world that are kind of regional, certain attitudes. I don't know if that's it, if that's the kind of thing it is too. I don't know. I know a lot of times they break it down to red and blue, and that's sort of a little bit of too. But I think in general, I think in general the can-do spirit was something that my grandparents in West Texas, who for the most part were not Republicans until late in life, they were the old school rural Democrats. So I think it was always that bred in them. I think that was kind of the way of the folks, the more rural type folks, I think. But yeah, I mean that West Texas. Kevin, West Texas reminds you a lot of the Dakotas. A little similar in landscape it's still maybe a little greener up there in the Dakotas. There is some of that canyon thing you get around there as well, but it's similar, very similar landscape. And I can't tell you how close Fargo and Sioux Falls remind me of Lubbock, or Midland, Odessa, or Amarillo, all very much so. Minnesota's crazy. GM says she'll be along joining us in a few minutes. She and Caroline had just got back from a little excursion as well. And I'll be interested to see how things were out there. Let's see here. Yeah, the whole thing. I substitute teach in the off season, and I think I got another email. I got one email a week so far, and they're basically telling the subs because right now where the places I sub, one is where I went to school, the other one's where the girls went to school. And I haven't heard from where the girls went to school, Prince of Peace, but for Trinity Christian, I've heard what they're going to do, but they're not sure what the subs are going to do because they're not even sure that this plan is going to go forward. The plan they have on paper, which they have a plan, their plan B is also in their hip pocket, but plan A they've got on where they're going to have upper schools, the high school is going to rotate A and B days. If you're in an A group, you're going to go on that school on A, which will be Monday or every other day. B goes the days between. And then the middle school is going to be on some kind of quasi-hybrid situation. The lower school is going to be all on campus, the elementary school. And then the email they sent us yesterday saying, hey, we'll sit tight. We'll let you know something when we need, if we need you. We may not even need sub teachers. I mean, they may not need them. I mean, and Caroline was talking about this the other day. She moves in the dorm next Saturday. And originally, usually she'd take everything that from her room, and not everything, but she'd really stock a room up, and we'd probably take way too much stuff over there. But, and I think this is smart, she's kind of thinking, just in case, what happens if things, because we've seen since June 3rd, this is my conversation last night on Talking Baseball Australia. June 3rd, I thought the wife and I were going to be able to go vacation late July. We maybe do some things we haven't done before in the summer, actually have a summer vacation. Well, it's gone south since then. That stuff's not happening. And so Caroline's seeing the same thing that, she goes to school September whatever, or August whatever, and who knows, by the middle of August, the third week of September, they're not all told, hey, pack them up and go home. And her was, I don't want to pack all my stuff up and have to go through all that again. So she's going to be a little lighter on her toes, and she's going to leave some things here, and I can take them over on my Mr. Dad, or Mr. Mom Day, as you call it, I guess, right? I think it was Paul called it Mr. Mom Days. But yeah, so yeah, she's doing that for sure. Let's see here. What has Mom got here? Hang on. We'll loan you some cowboy grit steak and red beans will work. Yes, cowboy beans. I'm thinking my great-grandfather, who was on the cattle drives and made worked on the cattle drives, and actually was his job, and everybody on the hands, and it's very Yellowstone, although it's done in Texas. He was on the cattle drives, because they would move the cattle from the ranch to Fort Worth or up north, mostly moving. What they would usually do is drive to the closest railroad depot, which what they were trying to do to get them, east and west, north and whatever, because of the trains. But anyway, his main job was, once they got the camp set up, he would have get the cooking going. He would have to do the chuck wagon, and yeah, he'd have those cowboy beans. And I don't know, we've done those beans in a modified version here and there. We got to find Mom those cowboy beans and get that grit. But I imagine my great grandfather, I can just see him, the rest of his cowboy mates, when a pandemic came around, they probably just washed it down with a bottle of whatever it is they had, and went about their business. I mean, I don't know if moonshine or what whiskey it was, but something, I would imagine. But you look like you're like 2 feet, like a little person there. Can you slide up a little closer in the camera or not?
I'll mess up your.
No, you're fine. You're good. It's better. I got turned toward you to help you out a little bit. But anyway, let's see what we got here. Yeah, many to Kansas. Yes, they would take him. This is back turn of last century. He passed 1967-ish, Mom. So your
grandfather,
the great grandfather. So that'd have been. But yeah, those, the rail depot. If you know your U.S. history, the rail depots, and that's why Kansas City and Fort Worth are big rail yards. Oklahoma City a little bit too, but those big now it's what's Burlington Northern now. It's Santa Fe Railroad. Was Santa Fe, then Burlington Northern. Now it's being Burlington Northern.
BNSF.
Yeah, BNSF. Big yard up there in Iowa, as well as there in Kansas City, in there in Fort Worth as well. And who do we know that worked there for a long time?
I think the Greer.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think Bill did. Yeah, but going back though, turn of the night, 1800s, the 1900s, or turn of the last century, before last, I guess we'd call it. The cattle drives, they were taking them to the depot, and I just have a feeling those settlers, and that, I mean, think about the hardcore settlers. We were talking about this the other day. Your mom and I were talking about this. When they were kids, they were talking about how these fans they had back in the 50s, even the cooling fans, and they'd soak these pieces of fabric, and it would sort of make these fans 10 degrees cooler, because most places didn't have the full blown AC, and make it 10 degrees cooler, and they'd wake up all stuffed up and all that, and they would but I mean, even back then, so there he is, folks.
There's Kevin.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me? Over.
What?
Yeah, what? Are you in South Dakota now, or what?
I'm at 10th Inning Stretch Global Headquarters.
Oh, okay. A conglomerate it is, isn't it?
Yeah, so I mean, it's so we got.
What were the? I'm interested that you jumped on, because we talked about this. You and I were messaging back and forth. You spent a couple nights up there in St. Paul at the ballpark. How was that experience?
It was different. The first night was, it was kind of festive, great to be back home. But tell you what, last night without even 1,500 there, and the Saints not doing so well, it was a little, I don't want to say depressing, but just a little blah.
She's not the same.
Show looked good though. I watched segments, not all of them, but I watched bits and pieces of the games, and the show looks good. It sounds good. The only thing it reminded me of, do you remember the game? It had been last year, the doubleheader. It was a Sunday rain out, and we started the game. It was the one when Joe Capietro won his 1,000th win, and we started that game, I believe, at 4, I think, or was it 5? It was weird. It was an unscheduled doubleheader. In the early crowd, the 5 o'clock crowd was still a good crowd, but funny at 7 o'clock when those gates open, or when 7 o'clock rolled around, that place was packed. Only time I've ever seen it like I've seen it on TV was that early start of the doubleheader, and it still was very good crowd. It's just so bizarre to see that, man. It's so bizarre.
Right. It's
anything else in the ballpark open?
Most of there's like a concession stand open for each of the 6 distinct areas, but you don't have like Snuffy's Malt Shop open. You don't have a lot of they have like a Rottweiler stand that's usually open. Bob Hansen's, that was not open. So it's just basic concessions. So you don't get the craft beer.
I wondered how thorough. I mean, like how much to do for a small crowd, and I don't know.
Even the usher table staff, it was maybe about a third of what you normally have there, and they're kind of handcuffed to what they can do right now too. They don't want them out having contact with fans. So
yeah, it's still weird. I was telling Paul this last night. We're talking this on our show, that it was opening. We're talking about baseball being at the the quarter pole, and it's August, whatever. We're talking about trades in the end of August. The whole thing is just so. It's so wheels off. It's one of those you'll never.
Wheels off.
Oh yeah, everything's wheels
off.
off.
Talk about how education is wheels off. I mean, everything is just wheels off.
Yeah. What's going on this week? Anything good up there?
Well, we're gonna tailgate tomorrow night. I'm practicing for tomorrow night. I got my supplies all for.
There you go.
Lighter fluid.
Hey, you don't drink that. You just
don't drink that.
There you go.
Yeah. So yeah, we're grilling for the family tonight, and then we're gonna, if weather permitting, we're gonna have our usual Saturday night tailgate party tomorrow night. So maybe we're bringing a little bit of normalcy back to the ballpark. So
That's awesome. That's awesome. So green onion brats, of course, right?
oh yeah, Eddie Medina saw me on opening night and said, "Oh, what time are we grilling on Saturday?" I said, "Well, can you go out there?" He says, "I don't care if I have to wear a hazmat suit. I will be out there." So
By the way, I like the T-shirt. The old North Stars there. I
yeah,
told
I
you
thought
this the other day.
try.
Did you catch what I was telling you the other day though? Originally, the Stars when they came here in '93, that they kept the North Stars, all that stuff. They kept the stars, the colors. But there was a faction of folks that wanted to be called the Lone Stars and do a red, white, and blue and do it like a Texas flag uniform. That was the original. That was kind of the original plan. But they, for some reason, I don't know if it was Miller or was it Green, Norm Green. That's his name, Green or whatever the guy's name was. Yeah, I don't know if it was because they didn't want to spend the money at the rebranding or what, but they just wind up keeping this. Basically, have morphed the colors have morphed over the years, but they've not really. They never changed the branding except for the colors and the logo. And really, the logo until recently was pretty similar. So yeah, it's still crazy to think about that. I'm sure for you especially.
Well, I have
I
friends
would have
that
liked
moved here
to
because of
switch
them.
to.
What's
I would
that?
like to switch to the Lone Stars because then that would open the door for the Wild to be the North Stars instead of the Wild. So
Yeah. Well, again, when they first, and I remember, I can tell you where I was in the freeway when I heard this, and I'm thinking, oh yeah, that sounds like a cool name. But it was rumored they were going to change it, and because the Rangers are red, white, and blue, it would kind of, sort of, be the colors. Everybody in the Metroplex have been some form of blue for the most part, but it didn't work out that way. I think looking at it, and I believe the behind the scenes deal was that it was going to cost them just a boatload of money to rebrand at that time, and they were going to do it. And every time they thought they were going to do it, but apparently, like she was saying, so many fans because so many people relocated here that they were identified with the brand and the old name, and they just kept it. So it's bizarre, but
That's the whole reason why the Beckhams moved here.
Really?
For the Stars.
Really? Why they move here for that?
They won the Stanley Cup, and they were trying to figure out where they wanted to go next, and they're like, let's go where the Stars went. So that's how they ended up here.
Huh.
I mean, it's the entire reason they came.
Oh.
Was because of the Stars.
Hey, did you get a good look at those rings, by the way? I saw the one that Sean was wearing on the air. Did you get a good look at his ring?
I didn't get a chance to. I should have. I think he only wore it on opening night, and as as a guy as a broadcaster, opening night's pretty chaotic for the broadcaster. So I was kind of letting him have his space. So I didn't get a chance to see it when he had it on. I don't know if he's going to wear it every night or if it's just on occasions like that. So I have not seen it up close and personal yet.
Excuse me, I got caught in the middle of a bite. What's wrong?
Nothing.
Oh, well, are you convinced that Chicago Dogs are that good?
Boy, they look awfully tough right now. Granted, they just had a stretch where you played in a park like Sioux Falls where hitters are going to have a field day. But boy, I don't know what to make out of that 3-game sweep in Fargo against the Gold Eyes. If it was the Dogs playing that well, or are the Gold Eyes kind of hitting the wall, being a full month away from home now?
I worry about that. I worry about that. Just even a long road trip, you worry about that. Even as a broadcaster, but I can only imagine what Steve Schuster's going through. I mean, he's not been home, in his own bed since June 20 something. They left. They were down there about the 20 some odd, like 25th, 24th, something like that. They've been there a while.
Yeah, he's had an accident in Fargo, and then the bus has blown tires on 2 different occasions now. So I think Steve's being tested real well at this point.
Yeah, that's tough, but still, I still like. I mean, he's got something to call. I still like that club, and although Chicago has passed those 2 tests recently, and I still think St. Paul's going to figure it out. I don't know why I keep saying that, but I've been duped before. I've written off Georgia's clubs over the years, and I'm going to stick by St. Paul making it.
Well, they're going to have to. They got Sioux Falls for 6 in a row starting tonight. They're going to have to at least go 4-2. To go 3-3, just treading water, and at this point. It's getting late quick.
Are they? I meant to ask you this the other day on the text, but are they doing home? I mean, they going to have crowds at the Golden Gophers. Do you heard anything about that at the football?
I have not heard any word on that yet. I just know that they came out with a conference schedule where it's just going to be all conference games, but I've not heard anything as far as what they're going to do with crowds yet.
Do you follow them much? Do you follow their athletic program very much? Or
Just hockey. Between baseball and hockey, I just don't have time for anything else. You got to draw somewhere.
Tech hired that former basketball coach, the women's coach, and she got fired for all that mess. I don't know if you saw that USA Today, but she was Minnesota's coach until 2 years ago, and then she got fired last night for. I don't know if you read that article, but it's actually one of the better written sports articles that I've seen in a while. As far as it was long, it was actually a very in-depth research piece. It was pretty good journalism actually, but
yeah, but sad story.
Oh, bad story. It's embarrassing to the university, but anyway.
But it should be more embarrassing to her as a human being, not to the university, because the university is not in control of what she does or how she behaves. And once they're aware of what the problems that were there, she's gone. But it's like I hope she does some soul searching, because you don't treat people the way that she allegedly treated people, and have. I think at some point it's going to come bite you in the bum. And we talked about this a little bit with Art Briles. We talked a little bit about this with other coaches who've compromised themselves. At some point, what's the old adage? Your sins will find you out. I don't think you can hide that kind of stuff forever.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Well, all good. I wish I was tailgate with you this weekend. It was today. Wait, what is today? Yeah, it was early I'm sorry, the date of the week. Earlier this week. Oh, I know what it was. I got a message. I don't know if you saw this, but Todd Van Stencil. You remember that? Do you remember a play where he fell on his backside on a little one hopper from Christian Correa? He's laying on his back and he threw to first base. It pulled the first baseman off, but he threw from his butt. And then they threw across and got somebody off at third base. Anyway, he tweeted that video. Somebody put that video up, and I was like, "What date was that?" And it was the day before that day that we were talking about, or the Saturday before that date I was talking about, that rainout. But the next day, or the day before, rather, was 2 years ago. And this seems like always the time of year I'm in St. Paul. That really late July, early August week. It's like the T-Bones are always there at some point during the latter part of the summer. This was like our final.
I always like going there in the late part of the summer because it's not so hot.
Yeah, it sucks. I'd be pounding some green onion brats and some Killebrews.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't have to be sitting outside in 104-degree heat.
Yeah, I got that. They got that really good hotel right around the corner from the Intercontinental. There's that, oh gosh, really ritzy hotel, smaller, old. It's right around the corner from the Intercontinental. They got this awesome brunch. Phenomenal brunch. I can't remember the name of that place. They got a great bar too at this hotel. Dang it.
Oh, is that where I met Lance?
No, I don't know. Maybe.
It's a nice hotel.
Yeah, do you know the hotel? Okay, Kevin, they're in St. Paul. If you walk out of the Intercontinental, take a right, you go down that side street. It's right there, a block from the Capitol complex, from the arena and all. It's right the same block as the arena. It's that old hotel. It's the St. Paul, maybe, or
yeah, St. Paul Hotel.
St. Paul. Yeah, that's it. Generic name, but yeah. Well, there's a cool bar there.
Yeah, I know what you're talking
about. A really cool bar. Anyway, I had my Sunday brunch there. A little sushi restaurant across the street.
Yeah, there are a lot of great bars and rrestaurants and stuff like that right around the hotel. I love going to St. Paul.
Yeah, sucks. Yeah,
the view out the window at the hotel is always really pretty.
So
what's that?
There's a few restaurants downtown that haven't survived on the COVID thing. Casa Luna shut down.
I'm not surprised.
Shut down.
Well,
that's sad.
So is the tailgate gang pretty much intact? They all been showing up?
Well, we haven't had one at the park yet. So tonight is the night I usually send out the group text, and then because you know me, don't do today what you can do tomorrow. But
right. Well, so I miss it, man. It sucks.
Tonight, and then see what I get for responses, and go from there. I know with the seats being hard to get because they're selling in groups, some of them are saying, "Well, we might just tailgate and then head home." So
Are they
the
like
parking lot, who knows?
if you walk up to the ticket window, can you get a ticket at the window?
I don't think they're even doing that. I think everything is online right now. They don't want the whole interaction thing going on.
So if you wanted to go to the game tonight, and you typed down, you could go online and buy a ticket for the night, or is that already, because don't they have a certain? They're only capping it at whatever, right?
Yeah, 1,500 tonight is actually sold out. They're having a pot giveaway tonight, so tonight is sold out and fireworks with a Bob Marley theme.
Oh, how about that? That's right. I saw the Bob Marley music choice trivia thing they were doing. That's what that was. Okay, that makes sense.
I don't know
Yeah, I
what the
saw that.
function is as far as with the pot they're giving away. I don't know if it's going to be like a ceramic pot or what, but
It's something. It'll be a good bit.
That's funny.
What was the one they gave away the other day? Was there a bobblehead or something the other day? It was.
yeah, it's Rick Brooks.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I saw that. That was cool. Oh,
Yeah, the talking bobblehead.
Say hi.
Say hello, sir. Say hello. All right. Hello. You're making noise. Jeez, making noise. Well, good. We'll enjoy it, man. I wish we were there. It sucks. I'd be pounding my raspberry beers afterwards too. So. The cooler in my. It's funny because I came across too the memories popped up in St. Paul, and I got this. I take this shot every year. It's the same picture. It's the one of the booth, me walking in the booth. It's one of the setup, and you can see the 2 kilobrews sitting there on the counter, right there on the counter. 2 kilobrews sitting there. It's like the little setup I have there. And
you're gonna need to cut that back. That's a lot of sugar.
Oh well. What are you gonna do? All right, mate. I'll let you go. We're gonna go grab a little dinner. I love you, bud. Be good and enjoy the green onions, man.
We'll do, man. We'll be thinking of you.
All right, bud. Stay out of trouble. There he is, folks. Our mate from Minnesota. There's Kevin right there, and glad he joined us. You like how I changed the Vaughns there?
Yeah, that's nice. That's who we are.
Yeah, everybody else is kind of bolted on us tonight. I don't know what. Kevin, thanks a lot. By the way, Mom, thanks a lot too. Let's see here. Get a couple of texts here. Let's see, maybe texting of a note. I know I shouldn't do this, but this is my men's group. I want to make sure we didn't miss anything on the chat here. No, we didn't. All good. But our weekend, pretty much what you always do around these parts. We're going to do our patio thing tomorrow night. A little light on the light on our toes, I guess, and then do a little grilling on Sunday. It's pretty much what we're doing. That's pretty much it. Although I do have my new toy, and I will have to break. I got to break into this at some point this weekend to start.
No, it's gonna take hours.
Start figuring out that, but I had to get the edit the cooking video first.
Carolyn opened that with you.
Well, anyway, I hope you guys are doing good. Hope you're doing great. We're going to we had a really nice meal last night. Yesterday was a long day. Even for the pandemic, it was a long day for us. I mean, I was up at 6 doing my workout, and then had a church thing at 7. I went from that to I did do a taped an interview for next week's T-Bone show at 9. We were at 9:30. We were on the road to go pick up my in-laws, take my father-in-law to the doctor, and then we went and had breakfast with my mother-in-law and made a trip to Home Depot or somewhere, Lowe's. And then we were back here at the radio show from 12 to about 3 something. Then I was preparing for the T-Bone show, went and had dinner last night, came back, had the T-Bone show at 8 o'clock Central Time. Yeah, and I'm sorry, the Australian show. And by the time last night I was just like,
no, we were watching TV and literally I couldn't keep my eyes open at midnight. I'm like,
yeah, it was meeting. But anyway, it was a nice, good week, but we're already ahead for next week, which is good. But I had a nice meal last night. Our oldest came into town, and she and her mate cooked enchiladas, and had a nice little dinner. Yeah, it was all good. It was all good. So really good. Good to see Craig out there. Hope we're doing well up there in Winnipeg, my friend. That's pretty much it for us. I mean, there's nothing else. We're going to hit the TV and count down till Sunday's Yellowstone. Only 3 more episodes left, folks.
Can we get yogurt later?
I don't know, but why did you?
That'd be something fun to do tonight.
Yeah, it would be. I'm sure folks want to know about that.
Oh, all right.
It's like a little kid here. Hey, Daddy, can we
have friends over?
Jamie
can we go swimming?
Many Christmas, but that we could not. We're not doing that. The Mozzies are bad. They're bad.
they're not.
Oh
Not
yeah,
in that way.
I got eaten alive yesterday morning when I was out in the patio, and they're bad.
Well, they're not that way by the pool.
No, they're bad. So the water is the monsters are worse by the water.
No, not by that water. It's
No,
chlorine.
all good. But anyway, yeah. So that's our evening. That's our weekend. I hope you guys doing well to get through it. A couple things I was working on, and I haven't finished it, but I'm close. I was telling you guys in the open on the video, on the cooking videos, and I'm going to do some tweaking of all the videos eventually. But working on that, and then
What are you going to tweak?
I'm doing them wrong. When you do YouTube, there's a whole. I didn't know this. Do you guys know this? That YouTube videos, even these videos, have certain things you're supposed to be doing. Like we introduced the show, like we're watching Virtual Happy Hour or doing things like this. There you go. Welcome back to Virtual Happy Hour. Just kind of reset the scene. Well, anyway, YouTube has several things. It's not just, I just throw videos on there for grins and giggles. There's a lot that goes into it to increase your coverage, your awareness, all the little analytics of it. And there are things I wasn't doing and some things I am doing. Some things I'm doing a really good job of. Cover video, for example, when I'm doing the cooking videos, I have some pretty good cutaway shots. Some folks just run the steady cam the whole time, but things like, and I'm supposed to use red and white graphics a lot, and that's one color I use a lot of, both colors.
First color.
Well, but it's also the color of YouTube, and it gets lost in the search. And people, and they're looking at their visual. And that's why I'm using the green here, for example. It stands out, something I would never, different color. The subscribe thing, I've not really put a subscribe button on there. I got to put one of those on there. And these are all things when you get to the end of your, I didn't know this either. You get to the end of your YouTube video, the last 20 seconds should be an end screen that's got other videos to link to and your channel. And I hadn't done any of this stuff. So no wonder I've got like 2 viewers and no subscribers. So it's a work in progress, but the editing part is not the problem. It's that, except for today, that wasn't really my fault, but it's just the whole, we're getting bored to death there, but it's just the whole, for example, another thing, my intro of my video is long. It's almost like 45 seconds long. You shouldn't have, YouTube video intros should not be that long. They should be about 20 seconds tops, 30 at the most.
How long is the intro for Virtual Happy Hour?
About 20.
It's I love that.
And I've got this really cool, it's a really good, I like the work I did. It's a great piece. I love the editing work I did and the way I pieced them all together. It's fun, but it's just too long. By the time somebody watches it, they want to learn about ribs. They don't want to watch a minute of me doing play-by-play and throwing some cooking highlights in there. I need to pare that down. So it's all a work in progress, but hope you guys will check that out on YouTube. It's The Broadcaster Can Cook. I think there's 3 up there right now. There'll be a 4th and more coming. They're fun to film. And that's one reason GoPro is going to give us a chance to kind of do some visual things that we haven't been able to do before.
And also, you'll see the GoPro on your face.
Not exactly. There's a way. We're gonna have to plan this out a little bit. You
wear like a green sunflower around your head so like it doesn't.
No, there is. But I mean, we can, when you're filming the stand-up part, then I'll do some cutaway shots with the same thing. There's some tricks to it we'll have to do, but it's so big deal. They see me with the camera in my head, big freaking deal. I'll wear a cap, who knows? But little things like that. But little things around. But we're gonna have a good time this weekend and do our thing, and all good. So love you, babe. Tell everybody goodbye. Well, I'm just gonna shut us down here. There we go. And glad you guys joined us here on Virtual Happy Hour. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 5 o'clock Central Daylight Time, 6 a.m. in Western Australia. By the way, some of you Australians, I see a couple of y'all popped on. Glad you guys popped on and said hi. You can also catch Talking Baseball Australia on Facebook Live right now. The show was last night's show, but I think a really solid hour of baseball talk from an Australian point of view is up there right now on Facebook. Go to Talking Baseball Australia, and you can find that right there. Of course, you can find me on Twitter, Dan Vaughan Jr., Instagram, Dan Vaughan, and, of course, my YouTube channel, which is also another long work in progress called Dan Vaughan, the broadcaster. It's it. Pretty simple. So it's all right there for you. Most importantly, hugs to everybody. Love you guys. Virtual hugs, virtual good vibes. Please be kind to your neighbor. Please show some empathy. Please. Big thanks to my mom, to my lovely wife, to our good mate Kevin for joining us here on Virtual Happy Hour. Thanks for you for dropping by and saying hi and keeping this thing going. And most importantly, let's keep the good things going and be better in the end when we come out of this whole thing. So we all come out of this whole pandemic, we are rocking and rolling, better people with much more empathy for others and a lot of love for everybody. So blessings to all you guys. See you guys on Monday. Let's put the close up. Here we go. And have a great rest of your weekend, everybody. Love you all. See you all on Monday. Have a great weekend. See you later.